Hello, welcome to Duncan Digs Gardening. Hope everyone's well. I've been doing some moving around of things, pots and stuff. This is my little spring display. February is upon us, and hopefully the temperatures are rising, and it's the nights and the mornings are getting brighter, and hopefully drier. Because I've just been soaked before starting this. But I have nonetheless laid everything out, fetched it from around the side where a lot of the spring bulbs and the spring pots have been overwintering effectively. And, hopefully in a few weeks' time, we'll have a nice little display. The beauty of pots, of course, is that if something's not working for you, wherever I've placed it, just move it. I've tried to kind of put the larger, taller stuff at the back, the lower, flatter stuff at the front. It's not perfect, but that's what gardening is all about. Stay tuned. Now is a fairly good time to think about herbs. Most herbs that come into sort of popular consciousness for people, a lot of them are Mediterranean, so they thrive in warmer climes. They like to bake, some of them. The likes of this rosemary, oregano, golden oregano here, thyme, things like that. But there's plenty of native herbs as well, which are absolutely fantastic, pretty much grow anywhere, very tolerant of shade and colder weather. This is a herb planter which I did last year just to kind of throw a few things into it and see what happens. It was moderately successful. We got plenty of productive herbs from it, especially the oregano and the thyme and the mint, of course. Rosemary, absolutely fantastic for cooking, as most people will know. But now it's time to kind of take stock and decide which kind of worked and what didn't really. So the mint, I think the clue here is that I planted the mint in this pot, and that's a very obvious one because mint will completely take over a garden if you plant it in a bed. The key here is always put mint in a pot. I can't stress that enough, unless of course you want it to completely take over, which is entirely up to you. But this is a chocolate mint and an apple mint, and they did really well. And you probably won't be able to see very well, but they completely spread all the way to the front, crowded out a lot of the other plants as well. So I think probably word to the wise, mint is probably best shoved in a pot on its own so it doesn't have to compete. And it will reward you, and it will be, the scent is obviously amazing. You get lots of different varieties of mint, highly recommended, great for cooking, great in drinks, if you're that way inclined. And also the bees will love the flowers when eventually the herb bolts, as it's called, and the scent will go a little bit more bitter and lose some of its appeal. The bees absolutely love it, and it comes at a time when the summer is starting to come towards an end, and bees are obviously collecting a lot of pollen ahead of winter. So can't rate mint highly enough, but please do keep it in a pot, otherwise you'll know about it pretty quickly. Some of the things that didn't quite work, I lost the thyme, which was in this corner. I don't know what it was. I think it was pretty much probably just the cold weather. It might have been crowded out by the chocolate mint. I'm not quite sure really. But it's a shame because I do really, really like thyme, and again it does sort of spill over and cover the container with lots of little flowers. The golden oregano, this was donated to me by my mum, and it's done very well. However, I'm going to extract it, and I'm going to keep it and place it in its own pot just to kind of overwinter it a little bit until things start warming up and I see plenty of new growth, and then I'll find somewhere for it. And then finally, I would say the rosemary. Rosemary's fantastic. I think the intention with rosemary is that a lot of people are a little bit nervous about when to cut it back because it goes very, very woody at the bottom if you're not careful. So rosemary in particular, there's no harm in cutting into it. It's perhaps not the right time of year to do it now, but it's good to cut into just to keep it fresh at the bottom, bush it out a little bit, stop it from going leggy like this one has done. But be very, very careful not to cut too far into the wood. You will kill the plant. There's absolutely no getting around it. So, you know, I always leave a good sort of 3-4 inches at the bottom where I can see new growth, and it should throw out some side shoots and bush out nicely. I will probably take this out. I'll plonk it somewhere if I can find a space in the garden. A lot of herbs, the instinct is to throw a lot of nutrition at it. Rosemary in particular, it doesn't like too much nutrition in the soil. It actually likes quite poor soil conditions. You have to think about where it actually comes from. Mediterranean climates, a lot sandier, a lot grittier. As long as it's good drainage and it can freely drain and it doesn't hold water, it hates being soggy, it'll be absolutely great. Sunniest spot you can find, plonk it in the ground, and as I say, keep cutting it back, but just don't go too far. So yeah, some tips really. So just to summarise, try and keep your mint in pots wherever possible. Decide what you do and you don't like. If something's worked and something hasn't, move on, get rid of it, do something else. Really good time to buy herbs is in the spring. You'll get go to garden centres, you'll find a huge array, especially in some of the larger ones, of herbs. And I very much treat herbs as a semi-annual in the sense that they obviously are not annuals. Most of them will keep coming back. Probably the only exceptions would be things like basil, which would be difficult to grow in this climate. Most of the others will keep coming back as long as they're not exposed to too much cold, especially the Mediterranean ones. As long as you care for them, they will keep coming back. But buy whatever herbs you want for that year. They will grow. This was completely full at its peak, and once I redo it and decide how I want to arrange it all and what herbs I want this year, I'm going to try a few different ones and let you know how they go. This will again be completely full. Herbs are also fantastic to pair with other plants. So a good example of that is lavender. Lavender goes really well with roses. It's, at least that's kind of roughly known as a thing. If you have a lot of roses in your garden, plant some lavender next to it. They complement each other really, really well. So bear in mind what combinations you have. Rosemary, find the hottest spot you can. Try not to cut into it too much. And yeah, don't just feel like you have to fill your garden with flowers. Start branching out. Herbs are absolutely fantastic. To actually walk past something like this in a hazy late summer evening, you get a sudden waft of all of those oils, all of those different scents. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's just part of what adds to why gardening can be so rewarding. So yeah, enjoy herbs and take full advantage of it.